I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network, and this is a breaking news alert. Donald Trump's lawyers just filed an objection to the special master candidates proposed by the Department of Justice in connection with Judge Eileen Cannon's horrible order, where she stated that a special master would be appointed to review all of the documents that were obtained in connection with the valid search warrant that was executed on Mar-a-Lago on August 8th of 2022. The judge did not invite this objection. It seems like Trump's lawyers just filed their own objection to the candidates suggested by the Department of Justice. And let me just try to give you the context of what's going on here, what the objection means, and what's going to happen. Judge Eileen Cannon, for reasons that are entirely unclear other than her just brazen corruption to legal advisors, granted Donald Trump's request for judicial oversight and related relief, which was appointing a special master to review the records obtained during the search of Mar-a-Lago on August 8th. Donald Trump waited until August 22nd to make that request, and the court granted that request at the beginning of last week, last Monday. So even though the search was conducted on August 8th and the government reviewed all of the records already, Trump waited until the 22nd. The court waited until last week. So the government already reviewed all of the records. Nonetheless, the order by Judge Eileen Cannon, who was a Trump appointee, she asserted her own jurisdiction. She shouldn't have jurisdiction. People are saying, why does she have jurisdiction? She shouldn't have jurisdiction. But she claimed that she's going to exercise extraordinary equitable jurisdiction over the search because of the irreparable harm she believes that could be caused to Donald Trump, and specifically his reputation, which is why she made this order. But in her order, she said the special master would review all of the records, obtain all of the records, as well as she issued an injunction which would tell the government to stop reviewing all of the records you obtained at Mar-a-Lago until the special master sorts through them all and makes recommendations back to the court, which can take months and months and months. And in fact, Trump requested in his subsequent motion to the court that this take at least 90 days. So what happened in response was the government, the DOJ, filed a motion for partial stay, telling the court, look, your whole order is incorrect. We're going to appeal your entire order to the 11th Circuit, which is the Court of Appeals that sits above the Southern District of Florida, which is where Judge Eileen Cannon was appointed by Trump to be a federal judge. But knowing that appeals take a lot of time, what the DOJ said, but Judge, for now, we're just focusing on a partial stay, meaning only the 100 classified records, because those impact national security, those impact our criminal investigation. Can you not apply your order to that subset of records? They shouldn't go in front of a special master, and you shouldn't stop us from being able to pursue our criminal investigation utilizing those records. And if you don't allow us to do that, we're going to do an emergency appeal to the 11th Circuit on September 15th is what they had said there. And so that was the motion for partial stay. Trump filed an opposition to the motion partial stay earlier this morning. I did a video on that. And his response regarding how we should handle these 100 classified documents is his claim was they may be classified, they may be declassified, they may be personal, they may not be personal. We don't know. Let's let the special master sort that out, which is obviously problematic and makes no sense, because if he's claiming he owns these documents, then claim you own the documents. If you're claiming you declassified it, then claim you declassified the records. By the way, classification is not an element of any of the crimes that Trump is being investigated for, but his motion made no claim regarding those records. He simply said that the government, the executive branch today, which is the classifying authority, they shouldn't be trusted to tell the court that these are classified records. Instead, a special master who's not a part of the executive branch, who would just be someone who's paid to conduct a review, that the special master is the one who should be making the determinations if the documents are confidential, not the Department of Justice. You're putting some random third party, granted potentially qualified third party, but the special master is going to say this is executive branch documents. These are top secret documents, not the actual United States government, who currently is the one who owns those records. And so that's what Trump is saying. The special master should do that. So last week, in connection with Judge Eileen Cannon's horrible order where she appoints the special master, she invited or requested or required the Department of Justice and Trump to submit who their candidates would be to become the special master, and that she would decide based on the candidates. Now, one of the things to note in the filing that was made by Trump and the DOJ, which was a joint filing that took place on Friday, the Department of Justice said we didn't even get Trump's candidates until like 6 p.m. and this was due this evening, so they waited until the last minutes to give us their candidates. But the candidates proposed by the Department of Justice included the Honorable Barbara S. Jones, a retired judge of the United States District Court. She served as a special master in the Michael Cohen search warrant and in the Rudy Giuliani search warrant. And the reason you had a special master there was it involved lawyers and law firms and potentially other attorney-client information. That was the only rare circumstance where you even had a special master, not special master to decide for the current government executive privilege. That's for the current government to decide what executive privilege is. So that's why this whole thing is odd to begin with. But Barbara Jones, retired judge, has a stellar reputation. And then you have the Honorable Thomas B. Griffith, who the Department of Justice recommended, who's a retired circuit judge of the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, and a very well-respected judge at that. Trump suggested a judge by the name of Honorable Raymond J. Dearie, a retired judge, former chief judge of the United States District Court for the Eastern District of New York, who served on the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, the FISA court. And then they also suggested Paul Huck Jr., who's a member of the Federalist Society, Paul Huck Jr., while Federalist, and he has an experience as a lawyer, but he has no experience becoming a special master, to the best of my knowledge, or anyone who's done research into this area. And so Donald Trump just filed an objection, and the objection was to both Barbara Jones and Thomas B. Griffith. And the objection, it's a weird objection, because what the objection states is we would like to object to the individuals who the Department of Justice put forward, but we don't want to tell you in public because we think that may harm the reputations of the potential candidates, and we think that all of this should be done privately and secretly, is what Trump's lawyers said in their filing, which is completely odd that is, that for all those people saying, hey, let it all out in public. Here they're saying, let's keep that information confidential. And then what they're saying also is that at the appropriate time, Judge, we'll file our objection, and we suggest that we do it what's called in camera, or just like directly with you outside of the public view, and then you can make your ruling and determination. Given all the corruption that Judge Eileen Cannon has now been embroiled in, it's obvious why they want to have just this direct communication and not be transparent about it. But one of the other things I just noted about their objection is they didn't list any reasons for the objection, number one. But number two is that there is a process in place if you wanted to file something not for public consumption. You would go about the normal procedures in something like this. Obviously, this whole circumstance of a special master, there's nothing normal about it, but the procedure you would do if you wanted to keep something confidential with the judge is you would file what's called an under seal motion, and that means the public wouldn't get to see it. The public could challenge the filing and say that there is a public need to know, there is a First Amendment right that shouldn't be confidential, but you would file a notice of motion and motion to seal certain documents. The judge would either grant or not grant the motion to seal, and then you would file your papers. If that was an objection where you wanted to list why you're specifically objection to Barbara Jones and Griffin, go do that. But you file the notice of under seal, and then you file the motion, and then if the judge grants the notice to file it under seal, then the public doesn't get to ultimately see the filing that you made. But here, telling the judge what we'd like to do is potentially one day file objections, it's obvious to me what they're doing here. And what they're doing is more delay. They're trying to basically get the judge to delay her ruling and to say, hey, if the parties want to submit objections, submit your objections by this process, by date X and date Y, and have more briefing on this matter, just to try to drag this out, because the more they drag it out, the less the government can do to pursue their investigation. And so that was the objection that they filed. Again, it wasn't an objection that was invited. It wasn't an objection that was part of some briefing schedule, to the best of my knowledge. They just filed a supplemental pleading objecting, telling the court that they have objections. They don't want to say it in public, is what Trump's lawyer said. We don't want to tell you it in public. We want to tell you privately in an in-camera review directly to you, no transparency over it. And obviously with this judge's prior dealings with Trump, that's incredibly problematic. We'll keep you updated on what the judge does with this objection that they filed, and we'll see what happens next. It's Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. If you want to support independent media, hit the subscribe button right now. Hit the subscribe button right now. Also become a patron by going to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. That's a way you can support MeidasTouch by joining one of the membership tiers. But regardless, we'll keep doing these breaking news updates for you each and every day. I'm Ben Meiselas. Until next time.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs, It Wasn't Rigged, You're Just a Loser, at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.